Sagittarius 2021. This year for you is going to be heavily focused on communication, work or health, and relationships. You're having a lot of activity in Aquarius, which is your third house, and your sixth house of Taurus. The eclipses will also be going on in your first house and your seventh house, which highlights that relationship area. And for you, this can kind of feel like a cleansing and a purging of energy, and maybe that you're learning how to communicate better and more effectively with people that you work with or in relationships. My name is Desiree with theastrologyaddiction.com, and thank you so much for watching. So today's video is specifically for Sagittarius rising, but you can certainly watch this for Sagittarius sun or moon as well. I practice traditional Hellenistic astrology, and my goal is to help you find purpose and understanding through the cosmos. If you are interested in booking a reading with me, my link is in the description box. Please also leave your feedback below for how 2020 has affected you as a Sagittarius and what your goals and ambitions are for 2021. Also stay tuned till the end of the video, and I will be going over a video that I made about the Great Conjunction, Jupiter conjunct to Saturn in Aquarius, which is further affecting that third house for you. Now, January 2021, we start off with the transit of Mars entering Taurus, which is your sixth house. This is a big shift because Mars has been in Aries pretty much all of 2020, and that is your fifth house of children, romance, sex, and creativity. So you could have been going through maybe some tumultuous relationship or romantic drama in 2020, or issues with your children possibly, since Mars does bring kind of that tension along with it. But now we're getting that shift into your area of work and health and daily routine. And on the 8th, Mars will be squared to Mercury from Taurus to Aquarius. So this kind of brings a sharpness to it. Maybe you have to make a really quick decision about your work or your health, or maybe there is some new information that you're learning that changes things for you in some way that you really have to adjust. On the 13th, Mars is squared to Saturn in Aquarius, which Saturn's in your third house. So I think this can have to do with maybe setting communication boundaries between you and people that you work with, or even employees that you have. The sixth house can be employees or subordinates. So setting real strict boundaries between that, because there can be a lot of tension at this time and maybe disagreements going on between you and someone else. On the 17th, Uranus is square to Jupiter from Taurus to Aquarius. Again, highlighting the same areas of life. And this can bring up some unexpected new information, or you're learning something new that can maybe feel hopeful and optimistic and exciting, but also definitely pushes you out of your comfort zone. So I think 2020, you will be really pushed to communicate in a new way, and it can possibly be focused on something that you're doing in work, maybe like related to work. Now, January 30th, Mercury will be going retrograde in Aquarius. And since this is your house of communication and Mercury is the planet of communication, overall, from then until February 20th, when Mercury goes direct, there can be a lot of things that fall through the cracks, miscommunications, arguments and disagreements that you might be experiencing. And as the stellium starts to kind of come together in Aquarius in February, I think it will bring just confusion and uncertainty to, maybe something that you're working on, or something that involves your communication in some way and how you're getting your message across. March 3rd, Mars enters Gemini, which is your seventh house of relationships. And on March 15th, Mercury enters Pisces, which is your fourth house of home and family. So you can be having possibly some disagreements or arguments within your relationships that affect your home life in some way. And the Sun and Venus is coming to this conjunction in your fifth house of Aries, which overall can include, your romantic life or your children into this, where there can be some frustrating words or disagreements going on that are really affecting your home life and how you relate to your partners. Mars in the seventh house can bring fights, disagreements, and definitely a lot of turmoil to your intimate partnerships or marriage partnerships. On March 24th, there is the square from Mars to Mercury from your seventh to your fourth house, and it brings in more anger, more confusion, and disagreements, maybe verbally or even physically. Now for April, we're having this stellium in Taurus, which is your sixth house, and that can feel like a new beginning, or like you're starting to grow something in your work or your career. You're getting a lot of more energy there, where you can maybe start to build something or start to change your daily habits and your health routine to better facilitate your goals and your dreams. This is an abundant type of a transit, so I think overall you'll feel very healthy and like you're really making like that spring change, spring cleaning, and going in the direction that you're supposed to be going towards. Now May, you'll have Mercury entering Gemini on May 3rd, and then May 8th, Venus enters Gemini, which is your 7th house. So this highlights relationships again and possibly brings in a new relationship partner or business partner to your life that allows for some peace and harmony and really just nice connective energy for the month of May. Jupiter enters Pisces, which is your 4th house, on May 13th. So May is a great month for you as well because you're going to be growing and learning and expanding your home base in some way. Maybe you are looking into a move or buying a home, or you are really dealing with abundance on the home front that can be tied into your relationships in some way. Maybe moving in with a partner, or you're meeting someone who lives near you. You know, there's just some nice connective energy between your relationships and your home life that the beginning of the year didn't really allow for. May 29th, we do have Mercury going retrograde again in Gemini, which is your 7th house. So miscommunications and disagreements in your relationships or business partnerships can start to arise. And there can be some obstruction of truth or hidden things going on, maybe lies or just things that you didn't see before starting to come to light. Now, June 10th, we have the solar eclipse in Gemini conjunct to Rahu, the North Node. And this can feel like you're kind of insatiably like hungry for relationships. Maybe a new relationship that you're in is really starting to have like this fire and this passion to it, or you're really on the hunt to meet someone, and it can be definitely like an exciting time for your relationships. But Mars is also separating from this opposition to Pluto from Cancer to Capricorn, which is your 2nd house and your 8th house. So there can be something maybe financially brewing or a debt that you owe that starts to surface and can cause issues. So while, relationships are being focused, there may be some financial things or debts, taxes, even death that might be a theme kind of below the surface that you are dealing with in some way or another. Now, June 14th, we have Saturn retrograde square to Uranus, and this can overall heighten that miscommunication or issues in your work life or with your health. So being cautious around that time of maybe taking on more than you can handle at work, or, taking on more in your health routine or with your workout routine. Now, June 20th, we have Mars in Leo square to Uranus in Taurus. This can affect some travel plans that you had, maybe foreign travel or higher education plans, and there can be something unexpected or abrupt and sharp that maybe changes things in a new way, or can even kind of cancel like a plan that you had possibly. Mercury is going direct on June 22nd in Gemini. So at that point, there can be things in your relationships maybe that are clearing up or that you're starting to learn the truth about in one way or another. Now, July 23rd, we have Venus entering your 10th house of public image and career. So Venus brings in benefits, possibly bonuses or abundance and connection in your career. So you can be meeting like new business partnerships or culminating new relationships that affect your career or public image or ambition in some way. And Venus is approaching this opposition to Uranus, and Venus is approaching this opposition to Jupiter in Pisces. So there can be something growing in your career that relates to your home life, or, vice versa. Maybe you are starting to work from home, or you're starting a new job that really affects your home life in an abundant and positive way. July 30th, we have Mars entering Virgo, which can kind of stir things up in your career and your public image in a new way. But I definitely don't see it as something bad because it's going to be approaching a trine to Uranus and a trine to Pluto in the earth signs. So there's something that you're growing or building that is really fundamental to your work and your public image, and can affect your finances, can affect your daily habits and your routines. And there's definitely a lot of positive growth happening for you the end of July, early August. Now, August 11th, Mercury enters Virgo, which is that 10th house again. And this is starting to firm something up, maybe a deal or a negotiation within your career life that you have been working on for a while, and that's really coming to maybe a closure or a new decision on. Now, September 20th, we have a full moon in Pisces, which is your 4th house of home and family. So you can be feeling like you are fulfilled or getting some more emotional connection in your home life, maybe with family or your parents or who you live with. There can even be a firming up of a decision about where you want to live. possibly even like a cleansing of your home and starting fresh. Now, October 8th, we have Venus entering Sagittarius, your first house, and it's going to be conjunct to the South Node. So you can feel like you are ready for a new physical appearance. Maybe you're ready for a cleanse, like a health cleanse, or just releasing negative thoughts about yourself, and overall just starting to feel a little bit more confident about yourself in some way or another. I do think this is pertaining to your relationships. Since the North Node's in Gemini, you can be ready to like release negative thought patterns about yourself or about how you do relationships. It can even be tied in with your friendships because Mars, the Sun, and Mercury are all in your 11th house of friends and closely squaring Pluto. So I think you could be feeling like you're more ready to like let go of negative friendships and, you know, relationships that don't make you feel like your best self or your most confident self. Now, I think November for you, we are having a stellium of planets in Scorpio, which is your 12th house, and square to Saturn and Jupiter in Aquarius. So for me, I feel like this is you're learning about communicating and maybe uncovering unconscious feelings you have or thoughts about yourself, or even how other people see you, and really learning to overcome and heal from those types of things in November. It can be kind of contentious and possibly argumentative as Mercury conjoins with Mars in your 12th house. There can be hidden enemies or secrets that are starting to kind of bubble over that you're learning about. And maybe you have to like speak the truth about something or learn how to communicate something that is, you know, uncomfortable for you. Now, December 4th, we have the solar eclipse in your first house of Sagittarius. So again, this can feel like you are cleansing and starting to release negative thought patterns about yourself, maybe getting more confident, and I think even becoming maybe more spiritual, like getting onto your spiritual path that maybe you have not been, you know, focused on as much, but kind of learning how to integrate that with your home life in some way. Neptune's also going direct in your 4th house, so there is sort of a tie here between that self-confidence and finding clarity about, you know, your home life in some way, or where you want to live, where you want to be, who you want to live with even. Now, December 18th, we have a full moon in Gemini, which is your house of relationships. And on the 19th, we have Venus stationing retrograde conjunct Pluto in your 2nd house of finances. So I think that around this time, there's maybe a decision about relationships that you have to make that is tied into that financial sector of your life in some way. You know, maybe an income opportunity with a business partner, or a relationship, you know, an intimate relationship partner that you have to kind of make a decision on, or maybe even something you've been working on with a relationship partner that intensifies and kind of binds you two together even further. December 24th, we have the final square from Saturn to Uranus, which is your 3rd house to your 6th house. And this can be something where maybe you have a unexpected health problem coming to surface, or it can be tied into your communication in some way where you're becoming more serious and learning how to maybe discuss difficult things in your life. December 28th, we have Jupiter finally entering Pisces again, and this is your 4th house, so you are really growing your family and your home life at this time. You can be deciding on a place to live, a place to purchase, and there's abundance there, so it's a good time for you to make a move and start to maybe redecorate your home or think about, you know, where you want to live, where you want to kind of set your roots. It's a great time for anything involving family. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video on Sagittarius for 2021. Please leave your feedback below. And if you are interested in booking a reading, my link is in the description box. Now, the Jupiter and Saturn conjunction in Aquarius, I will put this on the screen, which happened December 2020. And this is in your 3rd house. So take a look at that video to see how that could have been affecting you now recently. Have a great day. Bye.